Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Spyderco Watu, which is an odd-looking knife, for sure. It's sort of a rectangle and a triangle, just that they fold into each other, right? I remember looking at that and thinking, that's weird, but Spyderco does some weird stuff, and I've been shown time and time again that the odd-looking design, sometimes the aesthetically unappealing design ends up really working with the hand, really translating well, right? So, yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you guys that is the case here. This is very cool. What does Watu mean? Apparently, I hope I'm right about this, apparently it is a South African word for fire. That's cool, right? that's cool. And I think this is, if I was reading the information on the Spyderco website correctly, it's the Chokwe people from South Africa. I don't know anything about that. Obviously, I'm sure you guys can tell. It's just, this is what happens when a guy reads a paragraph on a website and doesn't understand it. But I think Watu means fire. That's cool. Very cool. Anyways, thank you to the gentleman who sent this to me. He is going to remain anonymous, and that's fine. Thank you also to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. If you are enjoying the daily knife content on this channel and you'd like to support me, there is a link for my Patreon right down in the description. I've got lots of cool stickers and other exclusive benefits there. And please follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I will link the Watu right down in the description, as well as Spyderco knives in general. You can absolutely pick this guy up right now. Let's go ahead and get a measurement here. Overall length of the Watu coming in at, what are we going to call this here? 7.4 inches overall. Blade length, 3 1/4. Cutting edge, 2.8 inches overall. It's not quite going to hit that legal mark for some people, but for other people it's going to work just fine. How about some size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1? Rat 1 is coming in at 8.6 inches overall. How about up against the Spyderco PM2? Spyderco PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. How about up against the Benchmade Reptilian, or in this case the Ritter Hogue? Ritter Hogue coming in at 8 inches overall. How about up against the Spyderco Para 3? This is a good size comparison. Spyderco Para 3 coming in at 7 1/4 inches overall. You can see there the overall amount of handle room, very similar. Obviously a different profile of handle, right? But we have more cutting edge on the Watu and longer overall. How about up against the Benchmade Mini Griptilian? Mini Griptilian coming in at 6.75 inches overall. How's the action on this guy? This is a Taichung, Taiwan Spyderco. Spyderco makes knives in Italy, in Taiwan, in China, in Japan, and in the United States, and probably somewhere else, right? I don't know. Maybe they make knives on Neptune and Jupiter. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Spyderco facility up there. It's a joke because some of them say USA Earth. Okay, move on with the review. Okay, so the action on this is excellent. This uses the compression lock, and I think it's got that bushing pivot system. It feels very similar to, look at this. This is running on phosphor bronze. Oh god, that is nice. It's really satisfying with a little tiny, like, the blade stock thickness on this guy is, this is like a wafer, right? It's so thin, it's not a big blade at all, and it's so smooth. God, that is satisfying. And you know, we're going to talk about the handle ergonomics here, right? As odd as they look, guys, it translates well. There is a lot of access to this little thumb hole here. You want to flick it out, you want to wheel it out, right? You want to use the reverse flick, right? You want to get fancy and fancy tactical and do your Spidey drop, right? You can do that. Yeah, this is awesome. Man, I was so impressed with that initially. Very cool. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. Get out my tools here. My tools, as per usual, are listed right down in the description, and these are very inexpensive, very recommendable. I've got more expensive options as well. I'm gonna guess the pivot. Oh, the Torx things went flying everywhere. Okay, the pivot's probably T8s. Maybe it's even T10. What is this? Let's check. Oh, it's T8. Okay. I'm going to check T10 just in case. Sometimes that little, the play in the fitting makes me think maybe it actually is a size up. No, I'm wrong. Okay, that's T8. That means that the body screw, and actually the clip screw, right, the wire clip screw is also a T8. Looks like it's exactly the same as the pivot screw. That's cool. The other screws are, I'm not even going to check them. They're going to be T6, which is something that I don't like as much as T8. But like I always say, it's not a deal breaker. Just be careful if you're going to disassemble this knife. Let's go ahead and talk about carry profile here. So thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. Yeah, not thick. Not thick at all. Relatively thin, actually, is what I'm going to say. How about length and height up against two knives with somewhat awkward carry profiles that nobody ever complains about, the PM2 and Para 3. This is great because we're also looking at a Spyderco. It does have that rise to accommodate for the positioning of the hole, and, you know, I mean, it's got to be there. But height-wise, I'm seeing that this really isn't even quite as tall. Yeah. Highest points on these knives, you know, this PM2 and Para 3 are still going to be taller. Lengthwise, we're looking at almost the exact same. It's actually a little bit shorter in the handle than the Spyderco Para 3. So, yeah, I really can't complain too much about that. Let's go ahead and measure blade stock thickness. I don't think this is going to be a thick blade at all. Blade stock thickness on this guy coming in at, yeah, not a thick blade. So let's go ahead and do weight. What are we looking at for materials here? We are looking at laminate carbon fiber, which is not my favorite thing. What is that? It's basically G10 with a very thin layer of carbon fiber on top of it. Just make it carbon fiber or make it G10. Taichung Taiwan has done fully contoured carbon fiber scales before in knives like the Kapara. Why can't we see that in this, right? Okay, whatever. It's fine, right? I just want one or the other. We've got liners, full liners that have been milled out, and then you can pick up my flashlight down in the description that have been milled out, right? So that's great. This isn't going to be a heavy knife. I'm going to guess it's somewhere around the 3-ounce mark. Let's find out. Thanks. Scale. Yeah, bam! Oh, dang it, I thought I got it exactly right. My scale's like, no, hold on. No, we're getting reports of, you know, slightly lower weight. 2.96 ounces. Sorry, I'm sure people listening on their headphones with the volume all the way up just had their eardrums blown out. If you're new to my channel, just be ready for me to yell at any time. It's a lot of caffeine. A lot of caffeine going on right now. Okay, so, yeah, we've got a thin, lightweight knife with good ratios. It's under the 4-ounce mark. It's on that sort of ounce and inch mark that a lot of people go by. Wonderful, wonderful size, shape. You'd think it'd be awkward. It's not really. This is an easy knife to carry. Pretty much for anybody. As long as you're wearing pants, right? You're gonna be just fine. This is a very, very easy knife to carry. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the anatomy here. So we have a sort of an hourglassy rectangular shaped, or I think they call it a coffin shaped handle, right? Edges nicely knocked down, fit and finish. It's exactly what you'd expect from Taichung Taiwan Spyderco. It's excellent, right? There are no fit and finish issues here at all. What I don't like is and I always comment on this, the laminate carbon fiber, right? Give me a whole piece of carbon fiber, or give me a piece of G10 and charge me less, right? It's fine though. Functionally, it's fine. There's a little bit of texture here that you can feel. How it looks, the laminate stuff doesn't really look all that great to me, but okay, it's fine, right? Functionally, it's going to be just fine. It's very durable. It's going to be just as durable as G10 or carbon fiber, which are very similar in terms of strength and, you know, resistance to the elements, right? So it's fine. There are little holes in the blade, which I normally don't like. It's Spyderco, so there's always holes in something, right? So, okay, it's fine. In this case, it's reducing the weight by just a little bit. Just those little areas in the frame and the scales, right, where the holes are milled out. Did it need it? Probably not, right? It might weigh 3 1/4 with those still there, but whatever. It's fine. Doesn't look bad, and it's certainly not in the way. Ergonomics. Holy crap. Holy crap. Ergonomically, this is actually really nice. There's no specific place not even a hint of where they want you to put your hands, right? All of this whole area, just put your hands wherever. You can get a full 4-finger grip back here. You can choke all the way up on this. Just so nice right here. This area is slight curvature and a little bit of jimping right there gets you. I'm going to sneeze on camera. So sorry. Nope, we're good. You can choke up right there. Index finger right there behind the edge safely because of that little lip. Oh, that's beautiful. So comfortable too. You wouldn't think that it would be comfortable, but this rounding here, right, despite the shape of the handle, it really makes it nice in the hand. The wire clip doesn't bother me. This is all rounded off, right? And because of this curvature, right, if this just went straight and it just continued, the same line, I might feel more like I was going to slip off, but honestly, that curvature helps me feel pretty locked in. I'm not going to say that, it's going to be perfect in a situation in a wet, slippery environment, right? But man, it's real. This was the exact opposite of what I expected. When I expected to just pick this thing up and just be reminded of my terrible, experience with geometry in high school. Just, no, just holding some sort of odd geometric shape. No, very comfortable, very secure, locked in. I kind of find myself wanting some jimping up here, but does it need it? No. Honestly, that ramp, I feel very secure. Ergonomics, man, never would have guessed. Great ergos on this guy. Really, really impressed. Like I said, very easy to actuate. Says Spyderco CPM 20CV. I expected that to be S30V because Spyderco likes to do that with their Taichung Taiwan stuff. 20CV, excellent. We have an incredibly thinly ground, fully flat ground, very thin. Look at this. Yeah, this is very thin behind the edge, right? I think 20CV is a perfect steel for this type of geometry. This is an EDC knife, right? It's going to be delicate at the tip. This isn't going to be something that you take out and, pry the door off a tank with, right? That's stupid. We don't need that in an EDC knife. This is absolutely an EDC style knife. It's going to make short work of, any type of generic EDC task, right? Other things, obviously there's a lot that you can gain in terms of benefit with a very thinly ground blade, right? Not going to be doing your more heavy duty cutting tasks, right? Use a different tool for that. But for your tasks that require a blade to pass through material readily and efficiently, and if you need to for a long period of time, yeah, wonderful. Wonderful geometry on this guy. The steel is great, extremely corrosion resistant, and excellent edge retention. CPM 20CV is an analog to M390 and Carpenter 204P, so that's wonderful, very premium. This is a satin finished blade, so unfortunately, up here it's not bad, truthfully. Did they? They did. They knocked that down just a little bit. But the Spidey hole, is it different? Let's see. Can it see if we're going to rain fingernail. No, it's not bad. Maybe they're making this feels a little bit less sharp than some other Spider, like up here. Feels less sharp than other, satin finished Spyderco knives that I've handled. For example, the Shaman that comes, like when they do sprints that are satin finished blades. Oh my God. That angle is so sharp, but not bad on this guy. So it's okay. I always say I'd like to see tumbled. The satin finish has kind of bored me, but it's perfectly fine. And it's just going to help exemplify the stainless qualities of CPM 20CV. The edge is great. There is no sharpening choil, which is something that Spyderco seems to aggressively avoid. All right, you're sharpening it over time, you're going to get some wonkiness back here. It's all right. It's going to be an incredibly easy blade to sharpen in terms of how simple the edge is. It's not perfectly straight. There is some slight curvature to it, so you're gonna, you can do like your push cuts, and that's gonna be really convenient, right? But you can also do some slicing cuts, and the fact that it's flat ground, it's just the blade shape is excellent. I really did not expect to like that blade shape, but this is gonna be a very friendly knife to the human hand and the common tasks that you would throw at it. I think most people are going to find that this is just a joy to use. Very cool. Look at that. God. So it's just like, just push that button. It just falls into place. It's, oh man, I love that. Compression lock's very easy to actuate. There is a part of the blade that, oh, it comes back and it touches your finger, right? Just move your finger out of the way. Back here we've got some standoffs. No lanyard hole. Oh, darn it. Gosh darn it. I wish they... No, I'm totally fine with there not being a lanyard hole. It doesn't need it, right? Actually, no, I'm wrong about that. They found a way to sneak it in there. You can actually run a lanyard around this standoff back here. I think that's what they were trying to do. You can run it around that standoff right here and attach a lanyard to the standoff. That's fine. That's a great way to do that. Then you don't have to worry about where you're going to put the clip, right? Because the lanyard hole's got to go on there somewhere, right? You don't have to worry about it, at all. We've got the wire clip here, which I originally, I always said I don't like it. It looks like a paper clip. It makes it look cheap. Honestly, I'm really coming around to this thing. It's nice. It makes sense on this knife. It doesn't create much of a hot spot. I don't like how it does the swoop and then the bill, and the bill's like slightly angled down. Why are we doing that? Have the loop come, like, end right here. That way it's coming up on a continuous ramp, right? And it won't fight, pocket seams that are thicker than, right? If your pocket seam is thicker than from the scale to the bill, right? Then you're going to fight this a little bit. If they ended it right here and just rounded it off like they did at the end, then it's not going to do that. And you still have the same shape. It's very comfortable. Anyways, still a great clip. Carries nice and deep. You can switch it to this side. So lefties rejoice, even though it is a right-handed compression lock, whatever. I'm right-handed. I'll manipulate this thing with my left hand, right? Yeah, no problem. You can still do that. It's just a little bit awkward because I am... I wonder if I can get this thumb flick with my left. It's practicing some... kind of, right? But yeah, I can still do it. I can still operate the compression lock. That's my point. Very cool. We've got an adjustment head on each side. Typically, Spyderco, they have the captive pivot, so I'm going to assume that is the case. The lockout's great. No blade play up, down, left, or right. We do have a little stop pin back here. It'll work just fine. Blade center in this guy, which is usually the case with Taichung Taiwan, absolutely centered. It's really satisfying having such a thin blade like this with no blade play, and it drops and it's centered. God, that's just great. Really, really cool. All right, so what can I complain about here? The laminate carbon fiber. It's not my favorite thing. Give me real full carbon fiber, or give me G10. Right? That's fine. Whatever. There's no sharpening choil, which is the case with a lot of Spyderco knives for whatever reason. Some T6 screws. Not that big of a deal because they're pretty minimal, right? There's not a lot going on here. It's going to be fairly easy to take apart. There's a bill that then angles down on the pocket clip, which is weird, but okay, not that big of a deal. Way more good here than there is negative. Way more good. What does this come in at? Still a fairly expensive knife, $183. Honestly, though, as far as Spyderco's Taichung Taiwan stuff goes, in comparing, they love to use S30V. The Gapara, for example, S30V. Getting 20 CV here. You're getting, a knife that you can get a full purchase on. You're getting an excellent blade profile. You can choke up on this guy. So smooth. God, this knife is so satisfying to just play around with, right? Sorry, I'm at an angle here. I promise I'm really good at the reverse flick. Sorry, I'm going to move my mat. Sometimes when I do reviews, my mat just gets closer and closer and closer to me. But anyways, yeah, at $183, I got no problem with that. I think they're pretty close to spot on with this. Very recommendable. Yeah, if you're a big fan of Spyderco knives, or you really like the really good ratio knives, between like weight, blade length, all that stuff, you know what to expect from Taichung Taiwan Spyderco. You're really going to like this. Absolutely. The materials make sense. The blade profile makes sense. The ergonomics, all of it makes sense. The little nitpicks that I have for it are just nothing in the massive shadow that is cast by all the good of this knife. This is really good. This is going to be going in my Spyderco knives playlist, and it's also going to be going in my recommended knives playlist. You should absolutely check this out. I will link it right down below, like I said, and I will also link Spyderco knives in general. I'm going to add in here that I feel like this is going to continue to be a sleeper. in Spyderco's line. I don't ever see it being massively popular, but man, would I love to see a couple of sprints, right? If a dealer, or a dealer exclusive, if a dealer wants to pick up a, do an interesting version of the Watu, I'd love to see it in some different colors and things, or some different steels. It just really works. I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by the aesthetic, right? Don't judge the aesthetic. This is a totally different experience in hand, and it's truly excellent. But I fully expect it to still be a sleeper, right? I don't know. This is popular, and this is one of my favorite knives ever, and it is ridiculously ugly. So that's sometimes that's just the case. Guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today's review. Definitely check out the Watu. Please follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.